Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, my fellow YouTubers. Welcome to another edition of Airy Sky Really. I'm also known as Krabby McCoffee or San Juan Island Prepper. So I can keep this down tonight, I'd like to share with you my final thoughts. So I talked to my father-in-law, I walked Moppy, and then I was thinking about Tildor, what he said about milking the cash cow. Yeah. Fortunately for me, it's time for me to step back and let Chloe fight the good fight. Yeah, because she knows what she needs to do. I don't. I also think they don't know what she wants or needs. So, they might be milking the cash cow. They might have some plans for her. But I don't know. But my final thoughts of this whole saga is this. Held indefinitely means held indefinitely. Now, they're telling this to Chloe because they don't want Chloe to know what the wording is. They're allowing Chloe to call me anytime because to Chloe it is a form of uh, of what do you call it? They're holding Chloe as a form of threat. Think about it. She told them she's suicidal, she's homeless. But does that warrant them indefinitely? No. But I don't know what's going to happen. I'm worried about her safety, but I'm also worried about what's going to happen. So, anyways, Chloe is basically on her own. There's nothing we can do about it. So, there's got to be more to the meets the eye, but we, as in the citizens of this country, doesn't get to see it. That's the truth. And so, I sit here and I wonder what's going to happen. I don't know. But I will tell you, tomorrow I will be making a preview video and then walking to get bunny food and dog food. I'll probably have to swing by the store and get toilet papers and paper towels one day, or not, because I have to wait for the advocates. I'm going to have to go with the flow of what they said. I was angry and I shouldn't have been angry. They're trying their best for me. They know I'm having a hard time, and a lot of people know I've dealt with Chloe for 6 years, but whatever happens to Chloe, she will always hold a special heart for us all. We just have to move on. Whether they send her to Ohio, Arizona, or locked up, no one will tell us. Think about it. Think about it. Let's look at the final thoughts for tonight. Chloe she spent 6 years making Moses Lake PD bad and Tukwila PD bad, and She left Seattle after they told her not to contact me because she wanted to go home. They told her not to contact me. They said it wouldn't work out. And yet she came home. Now, think about it. Then, 3 hospital stays, all her records compiled to the hospital, emergency room visits, mental health visits. Think about it. Think about this. If you went and you wanted a vagina and you're transgender, you follow through, right? That's all she was thinking about, free sex change. But in the way she started developing a lot more problems. Out here, she started the trigger of no. And it got worse and worse and worse and worse. So now when they say no, they see she's got a trigger there. Chloe asked me to pay. She offered me $700 to lambaste the hospital on YouTube. I couldn't do it. After sitting outside talking to God, I just can't. How do we know the hospital isn't doing us all a favor? Think about it. Involuntary is someone who has failed in their duties. Well, think about it. Lives in an apartment, screams and yells at everyone, threatens people, and she doesn't get her way. Her therapist washed her hands of her. Her mom can't access her. The county DCRs had things planned, but could never touch her. And all of a sudden, 4 hours to evaluate her when it takes an hour. 4 hours. Then she says she went voluntary. Then they get her files. No one knows what's in her medical records. I only have the hospital records and everything before she came out here. I'm allowed to get them, but I have to pay for them. We're not entitled to know. You guys sit there and you say, oh, there's a lawsuit. Let me get some water. You see, there may be a lawsuit, my friends. There's not a damn thing we can do about it. That's the truth. And since no trolls are on here tonight, I want to speak for a minute before I go watch TV. You see, What the hospital is doing is for the best. You see, they might be milking her for the cash cow, like Tildor says. They might be working on trying to find her a home. I mean, think about it. Chloe cries and says there's no social worker to talk to, but then the social worker tonight says they can hold her indefinitely. Indefinitely. What does that word mean? It means that Chloe I'll do this later. My computer works indefinitely. So, you gotta ask yourself, what's gonna happen? I don't know. But, for the sake of the argument, they know what's best. We shouldn't lambaste him, okay? If they're gonna hold her indefinitely, let them. There's nothing we can do. If they come and give me the information, let them. Fortunately, Chloe's in lockdown. She's now panicked that they're gonna hold her till August. Let's just look at something real quick here. Google. I think it's called a Days Code. Okay, let's see here. Date. Does it say start date? Here we go. November 5th. 190 days is November 5th. Yeah, think about it, people. November 5th. That's when she runs out of Medicare days. The truth is, she's worried, alright? There's nothing we can do about it. You could sit here and troll me all you like, but eventually we all have to basically make some sacrifices and move on. So, my thoughts are this. Chloe's been indefinitely detained, is what I understand. There's nothing we can do about it unless someone out there on YouTube's a lawyer that can get her out of it. We don't know what the charges are. We don't know why they're detaining her. All we know is the facts. Now, let me tell you the facts. 1. For 6 years, for 4 months, she was good till she started showing her true colors. Then she was lying, cheating, stealing, threatening people, threatening YouTubers, threatening Instagrammers. Threatening YouTubers, Instagrammers, etc. is no problem. And then she went to the first hospital. They thought 1 week. Instead, they gave her 2. Same place she is now. Discharged her. Then 3 months later, she ended up at another hospital for a visit too. They diagnosed her a little differently. Hold on a second. And then 4 months later, they sent her back to that same hospital for a second visit. Then they told her not to come back to Moses Lake at all. Then she avoided DCRs and involved teams at King County. And then she ended up in Smoky Point. Six months later, she refused meds, they refused service, and they dumped her. In Moses Lake, she was a lot of trouble. Moses Lake people are happy she left. Yeah. And then from September 2018 to December and onwards, it just got worse and worse here. But the sheriff never arrested anyone and kept coming out. Now, a lot of you people think, well, why would you detain someone indefinitely? Well, let me put it this way. Holding a knife to your throat That might be it. On live YouTube. It also could have been people have been following Chloe for years. And now it could also be the Secret Service put in a note that if Chloe ever ended up there again, to detain her. No one knows. You see, in the end, no one knows. We're not entitled to. We're not. Some say it's because she can't take care of herself. She whacks her penis, masturbates, let's just use clean terms here. She plays her game, and she can't do anything. She loves to cook, but she doesn't want to clean her own messes up. She likes to use the F-bomb a lot. And in the end of the day, let's put it to you this way. What if you had a home, but you're not being researched because of your temper, your anger, you're a threat to yourself or others. And all of a sudden, you go to your therapist and you say, what is the taxpayers paying you for if you're not helping me? And she puts in the report after looking over everything that she can get her grubby hands on and says, Chloe's not opening up to me after 9 months, 10 months, a year. Chloe goes there. She doesn't take therapy seriously. She's a half hour late, 40 minutes late. Best course of action is to call her on the phone or Zoom because I can get a full hour. Meanwhile, Chloe's been given breathing techniques and mind thoughts. Think before you act. Speak before you speak. Think before you speak. And Chloe says, what's a waste of my homework? Goes back to gaming. And when she doesn't get her way, she throws a temper tantrum. Her therapist, sweet lady, told me it's all up to the hospital what they do. I think the hospital made the decision 4 hours. I'm going to look up something in Washington State on Google real quick. Alright, I'm going to look up this. Okay, so. First of all, the DMHP or DCR must conduct a face-to-face interview. Individuals can be involuntarily committed to a facility if they are 1, present likelihood of serious harm to themselves or others. She told them she was going to kill herself if she was going to be homeless on the streets. Are gravely disabled. She is gravely, severely disabled. due to a mental illness, which it is, and 3, the risk may be established by recent overt acts, threats, or attempted to inflict physical harm or behavior which places another individual in reasonable fear of sustaining harm. The video for 1. Determining the individual right. Historical case judgments. Do not use a standardized risk. Okay, see? Report both mental health and risk assessment instruments that potentially could be utilized in an ITA investigation. None of the risk instruments discussed here, however, have been validated for use with general population. While we could not identify suitable instruments for ITA investigation with the research literature, other measures that discuss the process. Okay, let's just go over this. And can I actually, I'm gonna copy this because I want to download this for my own computer later. My computer is up, by the way. Okay. Apparently there's a draft problem, so let me just fix this. So, here we go. So I will read this on my own time, but you see, if she was involuntarily committed, you have to realize, people, in my final video tonight, that we have no choice. It's all up to Chloe. Come on. $72 hours. So she walked into the hospital, said she was going to kill herself. So they emergency detained her there. Yes. The EMP is required to begin the interview by informing the individual with his or her legal rights for the requirements, identify him or same position, inform the individual his right to remain silent, and inform the individual his right to an attorney. So basically, they've arrested her. Encourage the person in a manner that eliminates the potential presence of mental disorder. Referrals for DMH investigations come from county crisis telephone hotlines. Protocols meant to provide uniform development and application of criteria and evaluation of commitment. Okay, here we go, people. County crisis hotlines keep their information for DCRs. Inpatient psychiatric departments. Yeah. Family member community calls. That would be me. Other local social service agents. Diminished mental status. Yeah, okay. Also, in Timber's investigation, the previous evaluation took place in a different county. Court approval. 72-hour inpatient hospital stay, non-emergency. 14-day petition hearing, 90-day less restrictive, and 14-day hospital, 90-day hospital, 180. The legal outcomes of the occurrence initially detained under the Involuntary Commitment Act. 5 days detention. 14 days upon finding from a judge. Okay. This is all the hospital stuff, but you see where I'm going with this. Hospital in psychic patient wards. Hmm. Emergencies involving minors, dementia, developmental disabilities, alcohol, or other drugs, medically fragile, fire, alright, whatever. So we're only halfway through this, but they made the decision. Reliability, training, requiring validity. So here you go, peeps. $20, $35, $55. So this here says risk of violence in the next 24 hours. Psychological assessment risk. Basically, demographic, personality, variable, historical, past violence, mental hospitalization, coercive factors, social supports, etc. Neighbors barking. Oh, here we go, people. So you guys sitting here, right? And you guys are wondering about my final thing. Here it is. Criminal history and shared data. When considering the risk assessment listed in Exhibit 7, it should be noted that prior history of violence serves as one of the most powerful predictors of future dangerousness. Current IDH SAGs recognize the importance of historical records, directs reasonable available information records regarding prior recommendation for evaluation, need for civil commitment, history of one or more violent acts, and 3. Prior determinations of incompetency or insanity. Here it led to past incident of involuntary hospitalization. or one or more violent acts represents a marked and concerning change in the baseline behavior. Without treatment, controlled deterioration response is probable. Fortunately, knowledge of ready access and can expand. Hold on. So, first, crime records. Any individual can request for conviction pending charges. These way for non-profit many access criminal convictions are watched in non-convictions such as arrest, concealed weapons, arrest only serve criminal justice aiding to midnight. Once the legislative investigating authorities these agencies need to access arrest records for purposes such as investigating fraud or abuse or conducting background checks, aiding permanent social health, public assistant fraud, attorney general employment review. So, county DMHP crisis officers report basic information about ITA investigators to the Regional Support Network and sends these to the state database. Each county office, however, operates independent data system, does not have access to case records outside its county. Consequently, access to prior records regarding the subject of the investigation may not always be reliable. As part of the research, the Institute conducted an online survey and usually have previous long-term commitment to the state psychiatric office to obtain that information. But DMHP must call the state hospital. The State Division of Behavioral Health Recovery already receives limited amount of information investigation. This data can be searchable, relevant term. Central call center can be implemented or state DMHP. Important is that many of these barriers may be based on real limitations on law enforcement officials. Alright. Okay, so you see, all this states that she could have been building a case against there for a long while. And if that's not the case, everyone, it could also be the threats against the former president that could have triggered this, or it could have been threats against the police. It could also be her threatening because she claims she's with Antifa. It could be it could also be the therapists have been building a case for years. So, I don't know. But, that's all I can say. So, all this could be stacked up in their favor. So, I want you all to take a break. Think about this. And we'll talk about it sometime tomorrow over soda and whatever. But in the meantime, thanks for watching. Please add and subscribe. Please post comments. Please leave feedback, suggestion. Hit the like, subscribe buttons. Wholesome fun for your family, including your dogs, your cats, your bunnies, your service dogs, your service bunnies. Hit the bell notification, thumbs up button, subscribe button. Keep the comments nice. Oh yes, thank you. God bless you in everything you do.